Oh my gosh. So she got bullied by a trans person. She's trying to help. That's what happens. Do you know what I mean? Today we're going to be reacting to a cat lady leaving the left. So here's the thing with us ladies, it's like we'll vote for literal terrorism for a decade. Like we have a tendency to vote Democrat, and Democrats have a tendency to vote for the worst possible things. Like, LA will be burning to the ground, burning. Women have a tendency to still vote left, and then what'll happen is they say, "Oh, do you know what? I'm right now." They're like, "Oopsies, accept me." We're gonna see.
Grab your attention with my cat here. His name is Happy. He's very cute. And then continue to hopefully hold your attention while I tell you about why I left the left. And this is more specifically for people who are still like kind of in the middle. They don't know whether or not they should leave because they've heard a lot of demonizing language about moderates and about right-leaning people. And I want to tell you now, if you are one of those people...
Women's version of conservatism is I still get to abort my babies. I still get birth control. I want free IVF. But the crime's getting a little bad, and I might want safety more than I want. Like, I might not want to get raped. So, I might, want inflation to go down. So I guess that's more important than killing my kid. Maybe I'll try condoms.
I was kind of worried about that. People are not sexist, racist, homophobic, transphobic just simply because they are moderates or right-leaning people. There might be some, but I would say even that there are many on the left as well. So I want to give you some solace. If you don't feel like you fit there anymore, it's okay to leave. You're not a racist, a sexist, whatever. So I guess here's my story. I used to be super progressive. I was in high school known as the classroom feminist. I was very Black Lives Matter, very anti-gun. In fact, I was so...
Okay, so you tortured us. You tortured us for a decade. As most of you know, I have been fighting on the front lines of the simp epidemic for years, but I need to tell you about a quiet weapon being ratcheted up against men that is rarely talked about. It's not just the relentless anti-masculinity propaganda and OnlyFans hoes causing the societal issues that we discuss on this show. Did you know that the average city's tap water contains trace pharmaceuticals and endocrine disruptors? This often includes estrogen from birth control. The average adult consumes a credit card worth of plastic every single week. That's 5 grams of plastic a week on average. So it's no wonder that the average male's testosterone is half of what the average was 50 years ago. Testosterone levels decline 1% a year, and without a course correction, we are headed towards extinction. No matter how based you are, you need to be naturally boosting your testosterone. My friends at Choq, CHOQ.com, are on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. Choq's Male Vitality Stack contains premium and potent herbs clinically studied to naturally boost your testosterone levels, sperm count, and overall vitality. Just one of the many ingredients in the Male Vitality Stack was studied in double-blind human clinical trials to boost total testosterone 20% in 90 days. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity, you're more capable of making decisions and taking risks. Having high testosterone will also affect your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Choq Male Vitality Stack right now on Choq.com. That's CHOQ.com. Use my name Pearl as your coupon code and you'll get 25% off site-wide on Choq.com. That's CHOQ.com. My name Pearl is the discount code. All that feminism crap, and now we're supposed to accept you.
Left-leaning that I said we need to get rid of all the guns. We need to have a buyback because I didn't think about the nuance and the culture that we have in this country, right? Or the reason why we even had the Second Amendment. I didn't care. I wasn't going to listen. My brother was pretty right-leaning, and it was, I'm not going to talk to you because you're hateful and you're saying hateful things. That does not lead to healthy discourse, though. And I kind of got a taste of my own medicine, actually, when I was going to community college back in my hometown of Reno, Nevada. And there was somebody who came in to give a presentation in this class about LGBTQIA plus people, or more specifically transgender, because this was when it was really starting to step out in the public eye. At the end of this presentation, the person said, "Does anybody have any questions?" And I raised my hand and I virtue signaled, "I'm totally fine with trans people. I understand they're just people trying to live their life. I don't care." I have heard a lot of people who are anti-trans though, and I was wondering what is a way that I can talk to them about it. Is there any science that backs up the existence of transgender people? And if there's not, that's okay. I'm just curious. And the person looked me in my eyes and said, "Yeah, that's a good question." And then went on like a 3-4 minute rant. Did not pay any attention to me after this, but talked to everybody else in the room. This is what we call cis privilege. And continued on. And then after
So she got, oh my gosh, so she got bullied by a trans person. She's trying to help. That's what happens. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
That whole spiel, she then looks me in my eyes, in my eyeballs. At that time, I was only 2 eyes, not 4 eyes. She said, "Did that answer your question?" And I said, "No. I just want to know the science behind it." That's not to say, like, again, if there's not science, that's okay too. I just want to know. And she said, "Oh," and then started the rant again. So I was like, oh, yeah, she's telling me to shut up and just accept it. Love that for me. But I started to see other things that really made me concerned. I used to believe in this whole, you could be obese and healthy. Not true. You can be obese and do healthy things like going on walks, but doesn't mean you're healthy, you know? Or there were just a lot of things. What officially made me just leave was hearing that people are actually medicalizing children because they're trans, including giving them mastectomies. What? We don't let children drink, drive, smoke, get married, do it, but they are mature enough to know their own bodies to transition, right? And then we do this fear-mongering thing that, well, would you rather have an alive daughter or a dead son? What? That is awful. But you start to see things like that, right? And this is where true violence comes in when you stop talking. Charlie Kirk even says this. And I realized that I didn't want to be a part of that group anymore who would just immediately shut people down just because they're not going to conform to your worldview. And, also starting to see like having trans women in women's sports. There's a reason we had these categories separated.
Notice how all of the reasons she's giving for leaving the left benefit women and or things that don't benefit women. But when it comes to men, it's, men will be killing themselves over a bad divorce. They don't care. But whenever things start to affect women, that's when we're like, "Oh, help us."
It wasn't a bigoted thing. It was to give, an equal shot because we are different. We are different. You wouldn't be a trans woman if you weren't different. And that doesn't mean that I hate you. It doesn't mean that I don't accept you. You're a person doing your person thing. I don't care. You're a person. And so I left. I left because there was too much of walking on eggshells and having to switch up the language so much.
I know you'll never win and they'll eat you. You have to be like a black, queer, transgender to win with the left. So if you're white, yeah, you're cooked. You're cooked. You're at like because you're not in a discriminated class enough in general. Not all, I disavow.
What is this thing? I fact checked this and I found it to be substantiated. Inseminated person? Excuse me? Excuse me? How dehumanizing. How dehumanizing. I just calm myself down. Right? Turn back to the Lord on this. But that's why I left. I was angry a lot. And I was looking at people as all these things without looking at the nuance of people. And that was really gross of me. And again, I'm moderate, although I have been thinking with this murder of Charlie Kirk, I don't know if I can stay moderate. I went to the Charlie Kirk vigil here in Eugene, a very liberal city, which was another part of me being like, wait a minute, this is crazy, because this is leftist central. No offense to anybody, maybe crazy is not the right word for that. This is me having to walk back my language. That's something I learned from being on the left. Crazy. My mom recently called me bigot. That's fun. Love that for me. But I went to that vigil, and a large majority of those people, I would assume, are MAGA. I didn't feel in danger. There was mourning, but there was a lot of love, and there was a lot of connection. And you see people of all skin colors there, men, women, like everyone was there, and it didn't matter, right? We were just being people. We were just people being people. And that's what I've noticed between the difference of left-leaning and right-leaning. So right-leaning people are just people being people. And left-leaning is you need to make your social currency by, like, for instance, my social currency is I am a bisexual woman. That's two things, right? Bisexual and a woman. That puts me in a lower class. But I'm a white woman, so that puts me in a higher class. It's kind of weird. But also then you have to look at, I grew up in very low income to a mother who had me when she was a teenager. So that's a thing. And also my parents didn't graduate high school. So you just have to go down this rabbit hole to prove yourself worthy of being in this movement and being able to have a voice.
Yeah, I don't care. You voted for terrible policies for a decade. I'm going to need like a decade of humility from you before I accept you personally. I'm sure the other conservatives will give her a microphone just like they do the ex horrors because this is an entertaining story. But we've had to live with the policies that you voted for. So I want to see action that you're sorry more than just a TikTok. Like the video, guys, and let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.